Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Objective. This is Let's Talk Headlines, and I'm your host, Jay. And I just want to thank you for tuning in, for stopping by to spend some time with me as we discuss some pretty interesting topics here today. Today's topic is the Fourth Estate. And when we say the Fourth Estate, we refer to the media, the press, print journalism. Okay. But before we actually go on, guys, I just want to thank you for listening here on SoundCloud. But I also want to inform you that I do have a YouTube channel. It is The Objective Podcast. And these audio files will be transported to my YouTube channel. But it's good for you to know that they are here on SoundCloud first. So if in turn you are listening on YouTube, I also implore you to go to SoundCloud and subscribe to The Objective Podcast so you can get the podcast first. So back to our topic, guys. I digress. The Fourth Estate. And like we stated before, the Fourth Estate is essentially the press, the media. That's what it refers to. And obviously, it's not officially recognized as a Fourth Estate because if my memory serves me correct, the estates, they come from European government. So the first estate would be the nobles, the second would be the clergy, and then the third estate would be the common folk. So President Donald Trump has been at war with the media ever since he started his campaign. And being as objective as I can, folks, it would be unfair for me to say that this war on the media was initiated by Donald Trump. I think it's fair to say that the media has never really been overjoyed and ecstatic for Donald Trump's campaign or nomination. As a matter of fact, I believe they enjoyed covering Donald Trump because he's such an animated character, a very unique character that you don't tend to see commonly in the political realm. And so they would cover now President Trump during his campaign, and he would say some of the craziest things that you would never expect from like I said, that realm, and it made for good, hot news stories. And Trump was the talk of the town. And as time progressed, well, you guys know what happened. You guys were looking at the news coverage of the election and previous to the election. People began to see that he had a large following. A large group of people actually supported him. And it caught a lot of individuals off guard, including the media. And as his campaign progressed, you see, looking back in retrospect, you can see the media was actually desperately trying to malign, to discredit, and to mischaracterize President Trump. And that hasn't changed to this date. As a matter of fact, we know the polls, CNN is ashamed now whenever the polls are brought up because they gave him no chance to victory. I remember Wolf Blitzer saying there is no path to 270. And yet here we have Donald Trump as the president of the United States. And he got far more than 270 electoral votes. And the fan favorite for the left-wing media was Hillary Clinton. As a matter of fact, folks. No, I won't even get into that yet. First, we need to talk about the responsibility of the media. Well, the responsibility of the media, in short, is to be a government watchdog, a gatekeeper, an instrument to disseminate necessary information to the public. Basically, the media is there to ensure that the public is able to have an informed and educated idea of what's happening. When it comes to the elections, you want to be able, as a media outlet, you want to be able to provide the public with enough information, clear information, facts without spins on them, so that the public can make informed decisions and vote their conscience based on the facts that they're given. But lately and recently, I don't even know if I can say recently, who knows how long this has been going on. The media seems to be bought and paid for. And you can do your research on your own. But if you look at Hillary Clinton's financial supporters, you'll see that Time Warner is one of them. And guess who owns CNN? Time Warner. Now, to me, that is a gross conflict of interest. Therefore, when I knew that, I was able to see with an objective eye that CNN had an agenda. They have an agenda. And like I said, the responsibility of the media is to kind of hold the checks and balances. It's to keep government accountable. But if you have a situation where you're financially involved in a candidate, then how can you trust a media outlet like CNN to be unbiased and to produce information that isn't tarnished by subjectivity and favoritism? But was Trump right to do that? Was Trump right to say, okay, CNN? And so take all these years or months, I should say, of the media fighting with Donald Trump, going back and forth, allegations of this, allegations of that, even into his presidency. There was no honeymoon phase when it came to his presidency. It was basically rough from the courting to the marriage. It was rough, just a struggle. And then you have recent developments of CNN, BBC, and a few other news networks being barred from entering the press conference with Sean Spicer. Now, it should be noted that the press briefings are on a invitational basis, meaning that individuals, news outlets that are present at the press briefing are invited. This implies that, yes, just as easily as you can be invited, you can be disinvited. So individuals like Jake Tapper on CNN and others are crying, this is a breach of the First Amendment, freedom of press. No, it's not. That's why it rings so true when individuals say that the media is the opposition. No longer are they the checks and balances. They're not detached from any candidate or any political side. So news outlets like CNN have seemed to abandon their role as a media outlet. And therefore, they have also abandoned their right to certain privileges that your typical media outlet should get. And President Donald Trump has actually made clear that he understands there will be negative stories about him. He understands he's not perfect. He says he even loves the good stories. He says there are good stories about him and he really loves those. But he still acknowledged that there are going to be negative stories about him. What he despises and what he continuously proclaims to despise, and what the American people despise, is the sensationalism, the twisting and mischaracterization, the misinforming of a certain topic to the point where you can't characterize that as anything but fake news, and it's a disgrace. I was reading an opinion piece by Presbitero Velasco Jr. This was from September 19 in 2008. He says, journalists have a responsibility to report the truth, and in doing so must at least investigate their stories before publication and be able to back up their stories with proof. The rumors and gossip spread by unnamed sources are not truth. And actually, President Trump brought this up because there was a story that CNN aired and there were 9 unnamed sources. The point is, folks, the responsibility of the press is, yes, to explain to the public what is happening. But if you're going to put forth certain highly sensitive claims that carry much weight and consequence behind them, if you're going to be putting those things forth, then at least give shreds of evidence. At least give something that will show that there is merit to what is being reported. If you begin to produce these stories that are ungrounded and unfounded, that is being very intellectually dishonest and irresponsible. The media has a great power. They have the power to change the tides of thought. They have the power to bring people up and bring others down in the eyes of those who watch them and who trust them. There is a great responsibility that is on the media. And it just seems that special interests and lobbyists are who the media is actually trying to cater to, not the American people. The media has obviously taken it personal when they were defeated in this recent election. And there's a constant going back and forth with the President of the United States. And this is a fight that they will not win. They lost it in the election. They will not win this fight against the president. The American people see right through the media. The American people are not stupid. They're not silly. People who believe what the media is putting out when there's no backing, they're willfully ignorant. They're not stupid. They aren't unable to see the bias. They are just willfully ignorant. And this is not only going for left-wing media. I can truly say that it is predominantly an issue with left-wing media. What I think we need are reporters like Chris Wallace of Fox News. Chris Wallace will show Trump no mercy when it comes to issues that Donald Trump needs to be questioned and held accountable for. And yes, Fox News is a right-wing media outlet. Yes, they are. But they have held Donald Trump accountable for the things that he has said. And they have also given him due credit for the good things and productive things that he has done. This is the role of the media. Hold public officials accountable. Make it clear when they have done something wrong. But in the same light, be honest enough to declare and affirm when they have done something right. Thanks for tuning in today. And until we meet again, may it be our objective to be objective. Have a good night.